All right, so this is the Math Test Prep Pro here. Today we're going to go over some common SAT math problems, and I just pick a few problems that are representative of what you would see on the SAT. And here I got some word problems, some systems of equations, some let's see what else I got. Quadratic equation, as well as circle geometry. All right, so we're going to jump into these, start solving some problems. All right, let me straighten this all out. So common SAT math problems. So let's look at the first one. The first one is a linear equation word problem. So the problem is that a taxi charges a flat fee of $3 plus $2 per mile. Write an equation for the total cost C of a ride that goes M miles. Then find the cost for a 10-mile ride. So there's two parts to this. First of all, we got to write an equation, and then we have to find the cost of a 10-mile ride. So the first part, let's do an equation. So the cost is going to be C equals, now here we know a taxi charges a flat fee of $3 plus $2 per mile. So here, when you're forming an equation, you kind of work backwards. So plus $2 per mile. So we know it's going to be 2m to represent $2 plus mile plus the flat fee of 3. So we're going to add that to any miles calculation just to get the total cost. So there we have our equation. 6 equals 2m plus 3. All right, so part one, we've done written an equation. Then find the cost for a 10-mile ride. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in C equals 2 times 10, because that's the mileage, right? M plus 3. So C equals 20 plus 3. C equals 23. So the cost for a 10-mile ride is going to be $23. All right, let's keep going. All right, systems of equations. First one. Okay, system of equations. All right, so it's going to, when you come up against the system of equations, especially when you're looking at, when you're looking at systems of equations, there's going to be two equations. These are two linear equations. So pretty much if you graph them, this would be one line and this would be another line. Now here, if you solve to find x and you solve to find y, the coordinates, the x and y coordinates, that's going to be where these two lines cross when you graph them. All right, so let's look at the problem here. Sometimes you got to look at it and you got to say, can I substitute in? Is it going to be easier to do the substitution method, or is it going to be easier to be the elimination method? Here, I see a y and a negative y. So I know, hey, you know what? That's going to be easier just to do elimination, which pretty much means I'm going to add this equation to this equation. Y's will cancel out. I'll solve for x, get an x value, plug that back in for y. And that's going to give me my y value. All right, so first, let's rewrite it. 2x plus y equals 10. Second equation, x minus y equals 4. Now, simply, I'm just going to add these together. So when I add them together, y's cancel out, leaving 2x plus x, which is 3x, equals 14. All right, so, okay, so what do? I got to solve for x. I got to get rid of the 3. 3 times x, so in order to get rid of 3, I got to divide by x. Divide by 3 on each side. X equals 14 over 3. Okay, so now that I got x, I can come back in and plug that into one of these equations. So I'm going to plug it into the first equation, just kind of picking one. So it's going to be 2 times 14 over 3 plus y equals 10. So do a little bit of math here. So it's going to be 2 times, nothing cancels out. So it's going to be 2 times 14, which is 28 over 3 plus y equals 10. All right. So I got a minus 28 over 3 over here, minus it over here, which causes them to cancel out, leaving me y equals 10 minus 28 over 3. So I'm going to use equivalencies here. So for the equivalency, I'm going to say it's going to have to be the same denominator. So it has to be 30 over 3, which is 10, minus 28 over 3. So y equals 30 minus 28 is 2/3. So we solved the system. So for here, x equals 14 over 3, y equals 2/3. So just to 14 over 3 and 2/3. All right, so back to what I originally said. When you graph out these two lines, the point at which they'll cross is going to be x coordinate 14 over 3, y coordinate 2 over 2/3. All right, let's go to the next problem. All right, now here we have a quadratic equation. Now let me rewrite this because it's supposed to be x squared minus 5x plus 6, right? That's the equation right here. This is actually supposed to be like a caret. 2 is supposed to go there anyways. All right, so what I have to do, first thing you want to do when solving a quadratic equation, you want to see if you can just use, you can just factor it out into 2 binomials. I like to call it reverse FOIL. So it's just like undoing the FOIL. All right, so I'm gonna draw the brackets. So it's x squared, so I have x here, x there. Now what I have to do is I have to find two multiples of 6 that when added together make 5. And I'm looking over here and I think it's 2, 3, right? So 2, 3 when you add them up. Now we gotta do the signs. So it's gonna, in the end, it's gonna be a positive 6, but it's when added together, it's gonna be a negative 5. So that's gonna be a negative 2 and a negative 3, right? So that's x minus 2 and x minus 3 would be the 2 factors. Now, how do we solve? Now, what you can do is set each one equal to 0. X minus 2 equals 0. And then x minus 3 equals 0. So plus 2. Both sides, those cancel out, leaving x equals 2. Sorry. X minus 3 equals 0, so I'm going to add 3 to each side. Solve for x. Those cancel out, leaving x equals 3. So the two solutions for x squared minus 5x plus 6 is going to be x equals 2 and x equals 3. Both of those numbers work. Like when you plug them into here, it's going to work. It's going to work. They're both going to be solutions to that equation right here. All right, and if you want to get fancy, you can write a solution set 2 and 3, which tells us the 2 solutions to this problem are going to be 2 and 3. All right, moving along. All right, circle geometry. A circle has a radius of 6. What is the area? Okay, so what do we have? I always say when you get into geometry, draw a picture. So geometry, let's see, circle, the radius dot from the center to the outside. We know it has a radius of 6. Now it doesn't tell us units, so it doesn't tell us what the units are, like centimeters, millimeters, feet, inches, yards. So we're just going to have to call it units. So it's going to be 6 units. What is the area? So there's a formula. A equals pi r squared. All right, that's going to be the formula for the area of a circle. So just come in here, plug in what you know. Area equals pi times r squared, which is 6 squared. Area equals 36 pi. Now, if you want to know a more specific answer, you can plug in an equivalency for pi, which is 3.14. Area equals 36 times 3.14, which is going to get us, let me do a little bit of calculating here. Calculator. 36 times 3.14 equals area equals 113.04, and that's going to be units squared. Because the area is going to be the result of multiplying 2 dimensions. All right. Now those are both acceptable answers. Now sometimes they'll ask you, hey, put the answer in radians. You're going to want to put that. Basically, it means putting it in terms of pi, which is a equals 36 pi. And sometimes they'll tell you use pi equals 3.14 to get the answer to the nearest 100th, which is what I did here, 113.04. All right. So if you guys have any questions or you want me to work some problems, feel free to ask questions, make comments down in the comments section, and just let me know what are some problems that you'd like to see. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm just going to keep plugging on videos. Cranking out about 3 videos a week. So make sure you like and subscribe and come back and just tell me what you think, okay? All right. Thank you, guys.